Okay, so today is Thursday, November 20th, 2025. And I'm gonna be honest, I have just a lot of notes written. This might be a long one, which will be really funny if I'm actually able to get through this relatively quickly, and it's shorter than they've been. So let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like the first thing I have to talk about is my book. So, few updates on that. Number one, print copies are now available. So it should be everywhere that they're sold. I know on Amazon paperbacks are available, and on Barnes & Noble paperbacks are available. I've ordered some author copies so I can have one on my shelf, and just some people I know can have them on their shelf. I'm excited to actually have a copy of my book, that I can hold. And I'll be honest, what I'm expecting is I'll get a copy, I'll be just so happy, so excited, I'll open it to a random page, and there will be a big typo staring right back at me, and I'm just gonna think I read this book cover to cover so many times. How did I not notice this? And it's gonna drive me nuts. And I know it's gonna happen because on the one hand, I'm like, dude, I looked at it so many times. It's gotta be clean. But I'm also like, dude, there's no way I got all of them. It's probably gonna happen. It's gonna be so annoying when it doesn't, so frustrating when it does. But I'm looking forward to be able to just have it, be able to hold it, show it off, and put it on my shelf. So, there's that. I think I mentioned that I've reached out to several book reviewers, book bloggers, and a handful have reached back out. So I'm expecting about 3 to 4 in maybe early to mid-December-ish. I'm looking forward to it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous, because I have no idea if the reviews are going to be good, which is what happens anytime I send it out for a review. And so far, the reviews I've gotten have all been really positive, but who knows, some people might really like it, other people might be like, look, man, this was just not for me, or look, this sucked, which would suck to hear, but at least it's honest feedback, one way or another. And even if it's really negative, it's gonna suck, it's gonna hurt, but hopefully there is something I can glean from that moving forward. I've also started reaching out to just kind of other people that I know, different influencers that I like, that I follow, that I enjoy their content. So hey, could I sponsor a video? I don't know what that would look like. I don't know how expensive that is. I'm expecting it to be really expensive. Honestly, what I'm expecting is if I hear back, I've heard back from a couple people for it to be out of my price range. But at the very least, I want to make that effort to reach out. I want to at least know these are the numbers. And I've heard back from a couple people so far, and one person, and both of them were really polite, it was nice talking to them. One was very much I have no chance here, this is way outside of my price range. One is I can't do that right now, but I think this is doable, at some point, hopefully soonish. So, we'll figure this out. I'd love to get back and contact you at some point, which I need to reach it back out to both of them later today, because I got these messages last night. But I am looking forward to hearing back from more people talking, trying to do some networking and seeing how that goes. And I reached out to one of my, local Barnes & Noble yesterday about, could we do a book signing? Is that a thing you do? I don't know what the logistics look like, but is that something we can get figured out? And essentially what I was told was, yes, that is something that we do like doing. Here is who you contact. So I sent them an email, and I'm waiting to hear back. So we'll see how that goes. But there's theoretically some things in motion. Some of them are more just kind of up in the air, but I'm trying. And I guess in a way that's kind of all I can do, but I am actively trying. And we'll see how that goes. So, that's that. As for Isla, I haven't done a whole lot with it lately. It's been a lot of like, I really want to, but I'm busy doing a lot of this and just kind of like other stuff that comes up as well. But really locked into marketing mode and like trying to find different opportunities and look at stuff and look up stuff, etc., etc. So unfortunately, it's kind of falling through the cracks. I still haven't really played much Pokemon either for the same reason. Also because I played a little bit of it, I'm like, I don't know how much I like ZA. I'm not quite at the point where I'm like, I just want to drop this. But I don't particularly like it either. But we'll see what happens. Other things, I'm just going to rant about sports for a while. So number one, OKC looks so good. And it's like, yeah, like we just won the title. This is like the same team that just won the championship. And yeah, you know, it took 7 games against a Pacer. Like, look, a lot of people were not giving the Pacers a lot of credit like before the series started. It was like, yeah, like this team's good, they're scrappy, but you know, they're OKC's gonna wash them. I'm like, no, we're not. Like I'm gonna say we win in 6, but this is a good team. Like you do not have this many comebacks if you're just lucky and fluky. Like 1 or 2 maybe, but no, like this team is tough. So I'm glad we won. I'm thankful we won. I hated to see what happened to Halliburton. Like 100%. I hope he makes a full recovery. But I am happy that we won. This was also like one of the best regular season teams ever in terms of their wins. Like the number of wins, the win percentage, which obviously kind of go hand in hand. Their defense, like what was it? Like the amount of the win differential. That's what I mean. It's like the point differential, I think was the best in NBA history. And now, in the next regular season, without J-Dub, our second best player, and, you know, other players being injured for a while, like Dort was out for a few games, Chet's been out a few games too. We've only lost 1 so far, and last time I checked, I think our point differential is better than it was last year. What's our record now? I think it's like 14-1, maybe 15-1. There's rumblings about, like, you know, they're looking really good. Could they contend for the regular season record? Could they beat the record? I'm going to be honest, like, as much as I would love that, I don't even want to think about that right now. It's an 82-game season. We're already, let's see. Sorry, just like trying to math, and I can't math super well. But basically, once we get to 20 games, we're about a quarter of the way in, and we're really close to that point with only 1 loss. It's theoretically doable, I would say. I guess we're mathematically on pace, but that's a lot, and I really don't want to hold my breath for that. But it's exciting to think about, and again, just seeing how good the team is without our second best player and with other guys in and out of the lineup, and we're still doing this well. Shea's barely played in the 4th quarter of like most games. We might just go back to back. There are teams that can compete. I mean, dude, the Nuggets are good. Like, the Nuggets are good. The Spurs are still good. I think Wemby's going to be out for a while. So, like, we'll see how that goes. I think last I checked, Houston was still looking good. Like, the Pistons are looking really good right now. Who else is, like, in the East? I know the other teams in the East. Like, you know, Boston has a lot of injuries. Dude, the Bulls at one point were, like, what, 5-1, 6-1, and now I think they're around 500. Like, it's not like, man, this team was amazing. Okay, it's more just they were exceeding expectations and then very quickly fell back down to earth. But, obviously, like, I can't guarantee a title. I don't know what's going to happen, but the fact that I could see another championship makes me excited. The fact that we could actually go back-to-back is super hype. We might build a dynasty. You know, I think we still have the Clippers pick this year, and the Clippers don't look good. It could theoretically end up being a number 1 pick. I doubt that. I heavily doubt the back, like, in a best case scenario would be the back-to-back Oklahoma City Thunder getting the number 1 overall pick. And I could see one of those things happening. I don't think both of them are going to happen. But it's exciting to kind of think about. I've talked about how throughout this year, my sports teams have done really well. Florida Panthers won the title. OKC Thunder won the title. The Blue Jays were that close, but they just missed out on winning the World Series. Then there's football. I don't know how much I've really brought up college football, but OU did beat Bama in Tuscaloosa. And now I think we're number 9 or number 8. I actually wrote, right now we're number 8 in the rankings. And what is it with the expanded rankings? Like the top 12, I think, are in the playoffs. We don't have a spot locked. We would still have to win our next 2 games. And I don't remember who we play this weekend. And then I think next weekend is LSU. And we might need some other teams to lose as well. Like, with where we're at, we shouldn't. It should just be, you win out, you're fine. But who knows? There might always be some jank. But it is exciting for me. I'm like, okay, another one of my teams is in a spot where they could make the playoffs. And from that point, who knows? We could get boat raced in the first round, or we could go on a run and win the title, and my weird generational luck in sports this year continues, because something has to make up for the fact that I'm a Saints. But hey, we didn't lose last week. We were on a bye, so we didn't lose. This is Falcons week. The Saints are going to play in Atlanta, and Drew Brees is going to be calling the game. It's one of those games where I'm like, I got to do whatever I can to watch this. Because I don't watch a lot of Saints games, because I live out of Market, and I don't have, like, Red Zone or, like, YouTube. Like, whatever it is, or, like, yeah, you can watch all the games all the time. Like, look, man, that's a lot of money that I don't have. I would love that, but, like, I don't think I can reasonably afford it. So, unless it's a game that I actually get, like a primetime game, or like, hey, coincidentally, this one's on TV, which, with how bad the Saints are, I'm not really getting any of those things. Like, I don't even think we have a Thursday night game this week, or excuse me, not this week, but this year, which is stupid. I don't get me wrong, like, Thursday night football is usually not that good. But from what I remember, part of the thing that, like, they had said, it's like, hey, we want to make sure that every team has a primetime game. And that's kind of what Thursday night is. Like, look, even if you're not getting the Sunday night matchup, because that's, supposed to be big, good teams, or a Monday night game, which can be, like, really big. Or sometimes it's like, look, this is a table scrap game, but they're notable franchises, so here you go. Thursday is at least supposed to make sure you get a nationally televised game and your fans get to see you at least once. I don't think we have one. So I don't know. I might have to go to, like, B-Dubs this weekend. Like, look, it's Falcons week. I gotta watch it. So, there's that. The Falcons lost again, which I almost sounded disappointed. I didn't mean to. I'm always happy to see them lose. I don't care that it's to a division rival and that Carolina's surging. I'm surprised they're only half a game back at Tampa, by the way. Like, oh my goodness. That makes the division more interesting. We're out of it. I mean, I guess mathematically we're not, but we're out of it, and I'm fine with that. I had no hope going into the season. But just the, Carolina might win the division. You know what? Good for them. Love to see it. Sorry, brain stopped for a second. But yeah, Falcons lost. Falcons blew another game. Bryce Young just becomes God whenever he plays Atlanta. And if I remember correctly, it was the Saints losing to the Panthers that got Dennis Allen fired. And just as a collective, Saints fans were like, okay, we know he's in the division. We know we're not supposed to root for him. We kind of like Bryce Young. So, like, I don't know, it's kind of fun seeing him go off, again, especially against the Falcons. Denver just keeps winning, man. This team, it's weird. Because there's that part of me that's like, okay, this is a team that's, like, always in one-score games, but is almost always winning these things. They've only lost twice, like, on last-second field goals. And, from what I remember, it's like, yeah, leverage isn't called super often, but from what I remember, it's like that looked like a clear foul. So it's not that they got screwed when they lost to the Colts. It's just more of it's rare, but it's legit. But they're a very, very hard team to beat. That offense at times can just turn anemic and not do anything, but they come up clutch when they need to. They remind me a lot of the Chiefs last year and the year before, because the year when the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl and beat the Eagles, that was a team that they still had a good offense. Mahomes was MVP that year. And then the next year was no, they look super beatable. This offense is just not clicking. The defense is elite, but the offense isn't great. But they won the Super Bowl. And the next year was kind of the same thing. And they took belt to ass in the Super Bowl. This Denver team reminds me of that, which means they're either going to go to so I guess that means I think Denver's going to the Super Bowl either way. It's just, are they going to get beat up by a team that can just neutralize their offense and do enough against their defense? Is it going to be a close, tight game throughout? And with how clutch Denver has been, they're able to pull it out. I don't know. Sorry, my brain was thinking, could we see a Denver-Philly rematch? And then thinking, Philly is weird. Because every week, they look super beatable. And every week, they win anyways. Yes, they still have a couple losses, but they're a lot like Denver in that regard. They're a lot like Kansas City the past couple years in that regard as well. There's problems. And I guess that's kind of the difference. It feels like Denver, the offense will either not do much in 3 quarters or almost just do enough, but then in the 4th quarter, kind of come alive. Although there's games against the Jets or the Raiders where you can't even really say that. Whereas the Eagles, the offense just consistently feels off. But the defense is so good, it kind of doesn't matter. And the offensive players are so good, they'll do just enough. But I did pick the Rams to go to the Super Bowl at the start of the year. And the Rams do look really good. And the Seahawks had looked dominant most of the regular season. And even with Darnold throwing 4 picks, they still only lost by 2. And if that field goal had gone in, they would have won the game. But it was also a 61-yard field goal that wasn't close. But it's Philly. Philly is the team to beat as the returning champions. As, I guess as the reigning champions. I don't even like saying defending champions because of how much teams change, the coordinating. No, I mean just the OC. The DC is definitely still there, but they are the reigning champions. I believe they are currently still the 1 seed, but they look like they can be beaten. The Rams, to me, even though Philly beat them by they had to block 2 kicks, they had some weird Kansas City black magic voodoo jank, and it was enough. I don't know if they would beat the Rams again. I also don't think I can quite count out the Seahawks. And even the Lions. Like, the Lions did not look good against the Eagles. Almost at all, at least on offense, because the defense kept them in the game. And they should have had a chance to win it at the end. I don't think they would have, with how the offense had been playing. Even just, it was so telling to me. It's like, okay, they got that turnover on downs, which is, the second time in 2 Eagles games where they went for it on 4th down when they really shouldn't have and gave the other team life. And like, okay, you're down 2 scores. You're already in field goal range. Maybe you can get a touchdown here. Okay, y'all are going backwards. They got the field goal. I'm like, look, you had a chance for like something huge to really capitalize. And you did enough to stay alive. But this was not like the jolt in the arm that you needed. This was just like you stayed on life support. So yeah, I don't think they would have gone down the field to tie the game or gone for 2 and won it. But they stopped them on 3rd down. That was not a good call. And it's just frustrating to watch. Because here's the thing. If I'm watching, I'm like, that's clear pass interference. I don't mind you calling that. Because I've heard some people be like, no, like you can't call that there. You got to let the other team have a chance. Like, look, if it's a clear foul, it's a clear foul. That's maybe illegal contact and kind of grabbing the shoulder. I'm like, I don't know. Aren't you supposed to be able to do that within like a set amount of yards? And with how quickly that was, it looks like it was there. Like, I don't know. And then it looks like Brown pushes off. So if anything, that should have been offsetting if you want to call illegal contact. It left a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't want to be like, that was a bad game, that was a boring game, because it's a lot like that game in Green Bay. It's like, here are 2 of the best teams in the league, or at least in the conference, going at it for conference supremacy. And it is a defensive slugfest. I can enjoy that kind of game as much as I can enjoy Bills-Bucks, which was just stupid. It was fun, it was stupid. They are different kinds of games, and I, as someone who likes the sport, I like both of them. But I hate to see it end like that. Is there anything else I really wanted to say? I think the only other thing is just the Chiefs might just straight up miss the playoffs. I'd be lying if I said I think it's going to happen, though. Because I'm like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm like huffing copium or something. Copium spelled with a K, I guess. But, so, what's Jacksonville's record? Because I think Jacksonville is 6-4 while they're 5-5. So they're 1 game behind Jacksonville, but Jacksonville holds a tiebreaker, so it's technically 2. And they're 2 games behind the Chargers because 5-5 and 7-5. No, 7-4. The math isn't mathing on all of those, but I'm not sure who all has had a bye and who hasn't. So I want to say that Jacksonville has probably had a bye, and I don't think the Chargers have, which is why they are 7-4. Like, okay, that sounds believable. So the Chiefs have a game against the Colts, who are a good team, and I feel like that's a very winnable game, a very losable game. They have the Cowboys again, which kind of the same thing, and Broncos, Chargers, I think Houston, because I don't think they played Houston, and the Raiders. I think that's their remaining schedule. Maybe I missed somebody. And I look at that and I'm like, these look like a lot of games that could go either way. Like Houston, they're kind of figuring it out. Like they're using their backup quarterback, and it's not like he's looking great, but they're doing enough, and the defense is really good. Chargers with their O-line issues, I think that's probably the most winnable game. Okay, the Raiders, sorry. The Raiders are the most winnable game. I think they definitely will beat the Chargers. I don't know against the Broncos, because we just saw what happened. That can kind of go either way, assuming it plays out similar. Excuse me. they don't control their own destiny, but it's doable. Jacksonville also has to play the Colts twice. So I don't know, maybe they leapfrog the Colts, win the division, Kansas City beats the Colts and goes above them in the standings. But even then, they're like, 3 games behind the Colts? But I don't know, if they beat the Colts once, you're a little closer. If Jacksonville sweeps the Colts, boom. And if they keep winning their games, boom. If the Colts beat the shit out of the Jaguars, then Kansas City can go up. If the Chargers keep losing, they might just steal their spot. And then they have to leapfrog Houston, but they play Houston, so they can do that. They would have to worry about the Ravens catching up, but the Ravens might just win the division, which means you got to worry about the Steelers, which, I don't know, like the Steelers might just start losing with Mason Rudolph, or Mike Tomlin will do his magic and they win anyways. It's really close. And with a team that's been so good and so dominant for like so long, it feels weird to see them on the ropes, to a point where I'm like, I don't know how much I buy it. There's very, very little room for error. But they might just lock in. Like, I remember, what year was it? Who won the Super Bowl that year? It was Patriots-Falcons. So I believe it was 2016. That was the year that the Packers were, I think they were 4-6, maybe 5-6, and they didn't look good. I think like they were just played on like Sunday night and got the crap beat out of them by Washington. Did not look great. I think they had also like just lost to Tennessee, and Tennessee wasn't that good either. And Aaron Rodgers was like, I think we can run the table. I think we can do this, because as bad as things look, we're in control of our own destiny. Like, if we win every remaining game, we win the division. And from what I remember, kind of the narrative at the time was like, like he's saying the right thing, trying to keep everyone positive. Like, hey, like I'm captain of the ship and the ship is not going down. We are still sailing. We can do this. But no one really believed it. And then after a few weeks, like, okay, they're kind of doing this. And then, yeah, they won the rest of their games, won the division, won a playoff game on the road, won another playoff game in the road, and then, got beat up by the Falcons in the NFC Championship. But they did do it. Kansas City's in a similar situation where, like, it doesn't look good, and there's a lot of tough teams coming up, but they could do it. They're not in control of their own destiny, but enough teams like above them do have to play each other. So there is a room where, like, if you keep minding your own business and taking care of it, you can get in. And if they go on a run and are just like clicking and hot in the playoffs, I guess it's going to be Chiefs-Eagles again. But genuinely, like, who do I think is going to go to the Super Bowl from the AFC? Because I was like, look, man, I don't know what's going to happen. And if I don't know what's going to happen, it's probably going to be the Chiefs. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but they can. I don't even know who the safe pick is. I feel like if Kansas City was at least in the playoff picture right now, I mean, yes, they technically are, but they're not in a position, I'd probably pick them. But even still, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable about it. Like, I don't feel comfortable picking the Bills. Patriots, Colts, or Broncos. Like, I don't know. But I guess I'll go Denver. And then from the NFC, like, I'm going to stick with the Rams because I said them at the start of the year. And I don't feel strongly enough about anyone else to change my mind on that. But I really would not be surprised to see the Eagles go back, especially with how that defense is playing. But also, with the way that offense is playing, I wouldn't be surprised if they got bounced either. So, that's that. Just in terms of some other stuff, like I had said, I watched The Running Man last week. I liked it fine. I didn't love it, but I'm glad I saw it. I watched Clay play through The Evil Within 2. I didn't watch all of it. I watched like bits and pieces. And there were a few points where I'm like, all right, I want to play. And just like played for a bit. From what I saw in the bit I played, like it was cool. I liked it. Like I liked a lot of the monster designs. I liked the idea of the story and everything. Like it seemed super neat. He didn't get the scene, but I've seen it. Just there's evil out there. Yeah, but there's evil within too. I love that. I absolutely love that. I saw Angel's Egg last night. Not the first time I've seen it. I don't know how much I've really talked about it on the channel before, but I call it's part of my holy trinity of anime films, the other two being Spirited Away and Perfect Blue. I love Angel's Egg. I couldn't really tell you what it's about. Like, I could spitball, and I have some ideas. I'll tentatively say I'll do a video on it, which I say about other things and not do them. I've been meaning to talk about weapons for like weeks, and I just keep not doing it. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, look, I keep not doing it. I'm probably just not going to do it, but I don't know. I still might. I would like to do an Angel's Egg video. I don't know if I will, but I'll for sure, like when I get to the end of the year and like do tier lists, I will talk about it because it was technically a new experience because I saw it in theaters. That is a new way of experiencing it, and yeah, it was really cool to see it in theaters. It was just really cool to see it. I think, just short version, I love it because it's just a work of art. I don't know what's going on. I have theories and interpretations, both in the literal sense of what is happening and just also in the what is the main theme of this film, which, without going super deep into it, I think for me, it's fundamentally just a movie about loneliness and that need for companionship, while also being afraid of being hurt and being betrayed. And from what I understand, the director at the time was like going through a lot, and the film was just kind of a way of like venting those emotions and knowing them. Like, yeah, I can see it. It's not a film for everyone because of just how quiet it is, how still it is. Like, it's an animated film, and there's a lot of moments that are just, here's a still image, and we're just kind of going to hover on it for a while, or here's the image, and we're going to like slowly pull back, or the clouds are kind of moving. And then there's moments like, oh, look, there's like actual movement going on, but like, I'll kind of make fun of it for that a little bit, but don't get me wrong, I really like it. I really vibe with it. I just kind of adore this movie. Okay. I gotta talk about The Wizard of Oz for a while, because I rewatched The Wizard of Oz. And part of that was, like, I keep calling, so it's Wicked for good. And in my head, it's Wicked 2, but I keep just calling it Wickeder. And it's stupid, but it makes me laugh. So Wickeder comes out in a couple days. I am expecting to go see it. And part of it is like, yeah, I've had Wizard of Oz on the brain because of that. Part of it is I had watched a video a while ago about the Wizard of Oz DS game, which I don't know if I'll ever play it, but it looks super neat. So I've kind of had Wizard of Oz on my brain. And Clay just watched Wicked 1. Because he's like, look, if it's going to be 2 parts, I'll just wait till next year, watch part 1, and then watch part 2. So he watched part 1. He's like, I kind of want to watch The Wizard of Oz. And he brought it up. I'm like, dude, I've been wanting to. Let's do it. So we watched it. And like, we start it, and we get to like the lion roaring. I'm like, wait a second. I should play Dark Side of the Moon, because I've never done that. And I've heard it's like this incredible experience. So Clay is having none of it. So I just have to listen to it with my headphones. And yeah, people are right. It's really neat. And part of it is like, cool, like I'm watching a classic, amazing film and listening to like one of my favorite albums. But there are moments, and I will go ahead and say that, no, I don't believe that Dark Side of the Moon was actually written to be a soundtrack to The Wizard of Oz, because if you start it, like, right when the movie starts, the album ends once you get the Tin Man. There's a lot of movie after that that's just not covered. So, and from what I understand, you're not supposed to play it back to back. I didn't. So, I don't think so. And I think a lot of these coincidental moments are just that. But I noted some of the ones that stood out to me. Number one, the Twister scene. It's like almost throughout the entirety of that scene is Great Gig in the Sky, which is like, there's no lyric. Like, I don't want to say it's a woman screaming, because that feels like I'm not doing it justice, but it's like, I'm not doing it very well, but it is like this very intense vocal performance, and listening to that during the tornado scene, like, hold on, this fits super well. And the ending of the song, compared to like when like all the sound of the Twister just like stops, was almost perfectly synced, to the point where if I had started it slightly later, because I think I've heard some people say it's like, you don't start it at the very, like, once the movie starts, wait till the lion like roars once or twice. I'm like, if I had waited like a couple more seconds, it would have synced perfectly, and that would have been dope as hell. And then, yeah, like, when she opens the door and sees Oz, that's when Money plays, and it's not like that's something that super fits. I just thought it was neat and kind of fun. But also, during the line of Money, where it's like, don't give me that do-goody-good bullshit, is when Glinda appears. But it's not like, it's just like when you see the bubble for the first time, I'm like, okay, that line with the Good Witch first technically showing up, it's kind of fun. There's a bit with the Scarecrow where, like, he's just sitting on the ground, and I'm just hearing, the lunatic is on the grass. I'm like, I can kind of see that. You know, the lunatic and the one with no brains, it kind of fits. There's a bit, like, at the end, where, like, the last thing you hear in the album is just, like, a heartbeat slowly fading and echoing out. And it's when, like, Dorothy is listening for the Tin Man's heart to see if he has one. Like, oh, that's super neat. Is there anything else? Okay, so I had just a couple other moments that I noted. And it was in Breathe. It's the later part, the like, run, rabbit, run, where it's like talking about work, and it's, as I believe Hunk is his name, the guy who's the Scarecrow, where he's like talking about the hard work he's doing. I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat. And when Dorothy is with Marvel, the guy who becomes the wizard, sorry, brain stopped for a second. But when she's talking to him about, like, her home, and he's like, the crystal ball and Annie M and all of that is during the second half of Time, where it's the home, home again. I'm like, that works, like, really well. Do I think it's intentional? No. But I think it's really cool, and I'm really glad I checked it out. So I wanted to talk about that. But I'm sticking with The Wizard of Oz for a bit. So Wickeder comes out in a couple days. And what's really funny is I had this whole little, like, conspiracy thing written down. It's like, I don't believe in one conspiracy theory, but let's this. Which was just, the movie comes out in a couple days and we still don't know who plays Dorothy. And, like, they have not shown her face in any of the marketing. But they've said, like, yo, Dorothy's going to have an expanded role. I was like, I wonder why. And I was getting a little bit worried that they might, it's either like, we're never going to see her face, we're only going to hear her. Excuse me. And it's just going to be like Judy Garland, like just the audio from The Wizard of Oz. Or they're going to do like a de-aging thing, or just like, yeah, we're going to take her face and put it on someone, and we're not going to show you that yet, but look, like, it's The Wizard of Oz, and, like, we're adapting Like, it's the second half of Wicked, which is The Wizard of Oz. And, like, here's Dorothy, and it's the Dorothy you know. Isn't that great? And it's gonna be so icky and distracting. I'm like, oh, man, I really hope that doesn't happen. And then yesterday, they're like, oh, no, like, this is who plays Dorothy. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's an actual person. It's not like an AI Judy Garland. Cool. Glad I didn't have to go, like, super deep into a rabbit hole or anything. We're Gucci. But one last thing about watching The Wizard of Oz, aside from the fact that, yeah, it's The Wizard of Oz. It's, like, the movie of all time. I love it. It's a classic for a reason. Is watching it reminded me of an anime that I watched, oh, gosh, like 20 years ago. I can say that unironically. I hate that. But, it was an anime I watched called Mare, or like Mare Heaven, which is like an isekai anime about a dude who gets summoned into another world by another dude because of like a prophecy. No, I don't think it was a prophecy. I think it was like, okay, we had done this before when like some dudes were being assholes. And the dude that was previously summoned was the main character's dad. So I think they were trying to summon him again, but instead got the MC. And it's about him and, like, the people that he meets and, like, some fun adventures. And then it's just a giant tournament arc. And I remember it being awesome and just loving it. But one of the main characters, like, in his party is a girl named Dorothy. And she's very Wizard of Oz coded. Like, her fit is just like the Wicked Witch of the West. And she's always on her broom. And some of her magic items, because that's mostly like how people fight in this, are like, some of them are Wizard of Oz themed. Like, she has a scarecrow she summons at one point. She got a little Tin Man dude. And she has like a big golem dude. I'm like, okay, you might also be kind of Tin Man coded. I think she has some like a lion thing too. But what I remember is her like strongest thing is a giant demon dog that will just eat people alive that she named Toto. And I loved that. And it just like was like the memories all came flooding back watching The Wizard of Oz. I was like, I have to bring this up. And I almost want to rewatch it. Like, it's like 100 episodes, I think. Maybe it's not as long as I think it is, but I'm like, I remember it being long. So I don't know if I want to rewatch it, but I almost kind of do. And I guess, speaking of stuff I watched, I should talk about Survivor. I didn't bring it up last week because I just hadn't seen it yet. So I guess to keep it relatively short, because it's a long video. So last week's episode was that, hey, even though we're merged, we're going to split in half, which I still don't love. I feel like I was a little better about it because at least it wasn't both halves going to tribal in a double boot. But I still don't love it because it's the merge. Like, why split up the tribe? It's like, oh, it's to keep you on your toes and to keep you guessing. Yeah, but you do this every season now. So it's not a let's do something different to shake things up. It's a little different because I get only one half went to tribal. But again, it's like you basically just did tribes. We had like multiple tribe swaps this season, and that was awesome. Maybe you could have done one of those like one round longer or something. I don't like it. I don't like putting everyone on one beach. Now you're playing an individual game when you're all together, and then, okay, now that we've had our merge vote and we have kind of our lines in the sand established, or maybe not because things are super fluid, who knows? Let's screw all of that up. I don't like it. I actively hate it. But it was a fun scramble in tribal because it was like, all right, here's our target, but some shit happened, so maybe we're going to go here, but some shit happened, so maybe we're going to go here. And now some other bullshit is happening because someone else is now here and can vote. I did enjoy the chaos. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, is this dude really not going to play his idol? Really? Dog. It is not a good idea. Oh, never mind. He got literally no votes. Good on him for sitting on it. And then with this episode, I'm like, okay, he's definitely going home. or at least he's going to have to play his idol. Surely that's what's happening. And then even as it goes on, I'm like, okay, so he's doing all this work to try to throw Alex under the bus. And I mean, it's kind of got like Joanne's gears turning a little bit, but it doesn't really seem like it's working. And then Alex goes home. I'm like, huh. And not because Rizzo played his idol, like he kept it again. I'm like, huh. Never mind. He's like, you know what? Just never mind. Keep doing your game, dude, because it's working for you. And I don't know, just something I found really interesting in this episode. I guess there was a few things I noted. Aside from, damn, dude keeps holding on to his idol and it's working out. Why is no one taking the shot? It was something I kind of noticed in the last episode, and this episode kind of reinforced it. So, Joanne went from being, like, the dude on the bottom who doesn't know how bad of a situation that he's in to, like, he is now the mob boss and the power player. And it's one of the things I do love about Survivor is how the power, I don't know if I want to say power structure, but just who is in control and who's on the bottom, it is often very fluid and can change so easily. And it is something I do always find interesting. But what's also interesting is it feels less of people trying to suck up to the mob boss or like let me use the mob boss's paranoia against him, and more of a, no, I really like you and I want to work with you. No, I want you to trust me, so here's something I'm going to tell you. But it's stuff that gets his wheels turning. And I don't know, I just kind of like it. Like, I find it interesting. Sage is also in that dynamic, but it seems that people, for the most part, are seeing Joanne as more of the power player rather than Sage, except maybe Steven, who's like, I'm not going to tell Joanne this, but I'm going to tell you. And she's like, no, and I'm not even going to tell him that because of how, like, strongly I trust you. I found it really interesting how Alex is playing the middle. He is actively playing the middle, and everyone can tell. And they're like, we do find that a little sus. Like, there's bigger fish to fry, but maybe we need to get rid of you so you don't become a problem when we're trying to fry them fishes. Or, like, making omelets, as they were talking about, because they talked a lot about eggs, which, after watching Angel's Egg, was kind of funny. But then you have Soph, who the other players seem to think is in the middle and playing the middle, but she's very much not. It's like, hey, look, if people are going to give me information, I will take it, but I am with Rizzo and Savannah. I love Rizzo and Savannah. I am actively working with them. I just found it really interesting. It's like, here's the guy trying to play the middle, and it's not super working, and here's someone not trying to play the middle, and it's working flawlessly. Is there anything else I really wanted to say about it? Yeah, just the fact that, so MC went home over Sophie and just kind of all the mess, and when she gets back, no one is excited. They're all just like, huh? Wait, why is Rizzo still here? Why are you still here? Wait, he didn't play his idol? What the hell? And, like, it's kind of funny, but yeah, like, I do genuinely feel bad for Sophie. Like, man, how shitty and disappointing would that be? But also, it's like, okay, yeah, she even says, like, it definitely lets me know I am not nearly as close to these people as I think. Like, I am not important to them. I'm not playing for their game anymore. And, like, as Sophie even said, she's like, I don't want people to be asleep. I want them to wake up so that way we can talk and we can strategize, we can think. Again, the power structure is getting very fluid. And I feel like it makes a good, let me try that again. I like how different it is from the last season. Whereas in the last season, I still liked the merge because I liked these people. Like, I liked seeing the power players and their relationships with each other. I found that fun and engaging. But in terms of the strategy going on, for the most part, it wasn't great. Not to say that people weren't playing well. Like, Kyle and Camilla killed it. And I loved how Shaheen's like, I don't trust them. Like, I don't trust Kyle, but I know I need him, and I do like the dude, but I know he's trying to do something. And Kyle's like, look, Shaheen is probably the smartest person in this group. He is the one person that could suss me out. Like, I got, like, once I take him out, I take his spot and I know I'm good, and it worked. But it wasn't exciting from that voting perspective to see who's going to go out every week, because it more or less went exactly as he kind of thought it would. And here I'm like, I genuinely don't know what shit is going to happen week to week, because Uli's been killing it, but Jawan and Sage are very much not Uli strong. Sage in particular. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I do think the season has gotten a lot better. I am enjoying it a lot. It's just only a couple quick things to hit. Like I said, this is kind of going to be a long one. Just checking in on my weight. It's been doing well. I think today it was like 94.5. And I would say on average, it's been between like 93 and 95-ish. And I'm like, yeah, would I prefer it if it was lower? Sure, but I'm doing all right with it. It's been consistent lately, and I'm happy with that. I know it's going to be going up in a few weeks with like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, yeah, I know I'm going to add some in the holidays, but I'm happy with the number that it's at now, or kind of the range it's at. It's definitely lower than it was, and I'll take that. But I had an interesting interaction, not yesterday, but the night before, where like it was late. It was like 10, and I decided to go for a walk. Either I hadn't gone for one earlier in the day, or I did, but it was kind of shorter. I'm like, let me try to get a little bit more exercise on. So I go for a walk, and I get stopped by an officer. And like, I'm not doing anything wrong, but also I can see why just someone walking around a neighborhood at 10 o'clock might look a little suspicious. It's not the first time it's ever happened to me. It's the first time in this neighborhood, which I've been walking around even at night and for like several years. But it happened, I don't know, maybe like a decade ago, where I was like hanging out with a couple friends, took a late night walk, and I got stopped by a cop. But like, we talked for a little bit. Like, he introduced himself, just kind of asked me some questions. And I think part of it was because he even said, he's like, I'm newer to the area, just kind of trying to talk to people. Like, I see someone walking, like, I want to introduce myself, but also very much like, if I see someone walking alone in the middle of the night, I kind of need to know what's going on. Like, should I be worried about this? So he's just kind of asking me some general questions, and they are very much like getting to know me. But I think also, how is he answering? Does this all make sense? Like, does he seem lucid? I feel like I've answered everything fine, like, I'm being honest. But there's a point where he's like, yeah, so, like, how old are you? And I tell him, like, yeah, I'm 32. And I've also at that point told him, like, yeah, like, I'm an attorney. I've been practicing for a while. I'm licensed in multiple states. And he's just like, wow, like, you're so young. Like, I'm sorry if that's offensive. Like, man, you're so young. And it felt really nice. You know, just a lot of the stuff that's currently happening in my life, just like financial wise and like weird stuff going on, like the house needing a lot of renovations. Like, I've been in and out of it and kind of figuring stuff out. There have been a lot of points where I've just kind of thought, like, is this it? Like, this is where I'm at? Like, all the things that I've worked on and all like the time I've spent on like projects or skills, this is where I'm at? Like, why am I not here yet? Like, there's a lot of times where I feel like I've wasted time, or that I'm running out of time, you know? And for someone I've never met to just be like, dang, like, you're like, it's like you've done all this and you're so young, just kind of made me feel like, you know, there's still a lot of time left. Hopefully. You know, like, I don't know how long my life will be. Hopefully, there's a lot of time left. And in, like, the grand scheme of my life, I am still very young. That's encouraging. For all I know, like, look, it's raining right now. For all I know, like, a bolt of lightning will strike me tomorrow. And I'm objectively young, but in the, like, looking at my lifeline, not so much. But, it's kind of nice to think about. Not the getting struck by lightning. I've done a lot and I still have time to do more. There's more time to, like, to grow. There's more time to, like, get more projects done, to, like, take care of my people, you know? But, excuse me. I think that's it. Y'all have a good day. I don't know if I'm gonna do this Ding Dang Weapons video. Like I said, I would like to do an Eggy video. We'll see what happens. But I feel like, okay, worst case scenario is the bolt of lightning. But hopefully, like, a video worst case scenario is I'll see you in a week. So I'll see you on Thanksgiving. Take care.